O benedicite Dominus, welcome to question 133 of the Secunda Secundae. The topic of this lecture is Pusillanimity, these tongue twister ones, Latin words, and I am Dr. Thibault. This is now good. Okay. We're looking at the virtue, the cardinal virtue of fortitude and its parts. So its first part that we covered is magnanimity, another one of those tougher words, magnanimity. And of them, we looked at the four vices associated with it. So we've looked at so far the first three, which were vices of excess, because remember, good moral virtues are golden means, right? They're right in the middle, which magnanimity is right in the middle. So we've looked at the excesses. So now we're going to look at the deficiency, which is pusillanimity. I think I got it that time. When we look at it, it's really the complete opposite of magnanimity. Where if you recall, magnanimity was greatness of spirit, right? Big spirit, spirit that stretches. This one, pusillanimity, you're looking at the word very small, right? Pusilus, very small, and animus is the same, spirit. So it's a very little spirit. So clearly, it would then be a deficiency. In pusillanimity, it makes a man fall short of what is proportionate to his power. So it's something that a person could do. Again, these are all things that you could do. A magnanimous person, the thing that is magnanimous is within that person's ability, right? It's not asking for a person to be Superman. None of us can fly, right? We're not people of steel that we can bend bars and right. That would be magnanimous, but it's not within our possibility, within our nature. So this is depends on the individual what they're capable of. So some individuals, like children, might not be capable of very much um, in many ways. But because a child can't drive a car, it doesn't mean that they have a small spirit. It's just not within their ability set at that point. So another person, like I pointed out in previous videos, some person like a child might not even be able to drive a car, whereas another person could be a race car driver. So the range between a child and a race car driver in terms of driving is very broad spectrum. Therefore, it is dependent upon the individual what makes it magnanimous or pusillanimous. Depends on the individual. And the great scriptural example St. Thomas pulls out is a talent buried in the earth. If you recall that parable, it's a person with pusillanimity, right? Timidity. Maybe I should just say timidity. Um, takes no risks, right? They're given something and they bury it in the ground. They take no risks with it. They don't want to challenge themselves at all. They have the one talent, they will put the one talent in the ground and they will hand the one talent back. There's nothing magnanimous about it. It's being little, which Jesus was not a fan of. Right, slow. So is it bad? Uh, a person is guilty proportionate to the good that they might have done. Right? It's the line of Saint Gregory, which I think is a good line because as Saint Thomas uses in the objections, one could say, well, if a person just doesn't do anything, how bad can it be to do anything? They didn't do any bad. Right? A person didn't do bad, therefore they can't be blamed if they didn't do evil. But as the parts of justice point out, it's about not doing bad, but doing good, right? So you're judged on the lack of good, which you have not done by this. And St. Thomas points out in the objection 3 that it could be really a result of pride. This I think it's a very good psychological insight for us because I think it's still very apt today that people with obsessive compulsive disorder or people whose obsessive compulsive gets turned into hoarding or something like that, right? They're people who are not able to flourish because they're being held back by perfection. They don't want to fail. They don't want to lose, so they don't take any risks, right? Why does somebody not throw out any of their trash in their house? They don't want to risk throwing something away that they might want later, right? It might seem very illogical, but it's somebody who's very unwilling to take a risk in that regard. So same thing here. There was talk in the last decade about having a risk set mindset, a growth mindset, where a person's willing to try something even though it means they fail, and failing, you see it only as a pathway to success versus a fixed mindset where if you fail, you just give up. You're never going to try that again. And they were pointing out that children who have that perspective that if they're not going to be 100% successful at the first attempt, will not attempt it again, right? But the challenge of that is that you never learn how to play the piano. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in the first attempt, and with 2,000 failures. So with the growth mindset, you have to be willing to take a chance versus a pusillanimous person, a timid person who's unwilling to take any risks. They're unwilling to fail, which is a result of some sense of pride. You don't want to look like a fool, so you don't try. Now, is it opposed to magnanimity? Well, it's quite obviously it is opposed to magnanimity in itself. They're definitionally opposite. Something which is very small is the opposite of that which is very big, right? Magnanimity is very big. Uh, Pusillanimity is very small. So they're very opposites by definition. Also, what's the cause of pusillanimity? Uh, Ignorance of own abilities, right? If you don't believe in yourself enough to try, you don't know what you're capable of, you might not think big or try big. You see this sometimes in college education where people are middle aged and they think, I can never do anything because I don't have that college degree, so I'm stuck with a minimum wage job. In some ways, it's ignorance of their abilities, right? The degree isn't magical. Like, they could do that. They could do it even without the degree. There's a lot of people without degrees who are very successful, but in their mind they feel trapped by this idea that they don't have the degree, therefore they don't have the ability to do better than a minimum wage job. Um, and also fear of failure. Right? It's a little bit like the pride issue. You don't want to fail, maybe for embarrassment or your own ego. And then lastly, the effects, which St. Thomas minimizes it here and also in question 132. This idea that the effect really is just to shrink from great things of which one is worthy. Right? So the effect is the same issue of it in itself. Shrinking away, you have the ability to be a great saint, and instead you sit at home and you play video games, right? It's the effect is kind of a tragedy. Okay, so in conclusion, again, only 2 articles, so this one's very fast. Pusillanimity is a sin because it's not living out to that greatness that you're called to. It's living small, and when a person has the ability to do a great good and just doesn't do it, uh, as St. Gregory points out, you're guilty of the thing you did not do, the good that you did not do. And it is opposed to magnanimity because it is very small, where magnanimity, which is the golden mean, again, is the correct way of moving forward. In a presumptuous way or an ambitious way. That magnanimity is knowing what you're capable of and reaching your capacity. It's not going above it, but also not going below it. So that's all I have here on pusillanimity. Hopefully, I don't have to say that too many more times.